Hi everyone, Christina Werner here. Welcome to another video for SimonsTheStamp.com. Welcome to 2021. This is my first video of the year, and today I'm going to be using some really fun products from Simon, including this 4-piece stencil set called Layering Hearts. You have some larger hearts that can be paired up together or used separately, as well as some smaller hearts that have this kind of cool geometric design when you layer them on top of each other, which is what I'm going to do today. So I'm going to be using 4 different colors of Simon ink. I've got High Dive, Sunshine, Dull Pink, and Hot Mama. And I'm going to be doing a bunch of ink blending. Now I want my ink blending to go all the way to the edge of my cardstock. So I'm taping temporarily the stencil to my cardstock from the back. That makes it so I can go all the way to the edge. I'm going to start with the color Dull Pink with some blender brushes. And I'm going to bring that in from the left side, kind of at a little bit of a diagonal. Once I have that initial blending of the pink shade, I'm switching to Hot Mama and bringing that in from the other corner and moving up. I want to make sure I have a nice, darker, saturated color. I like how the nature of the stenciling makes some edges darker than the center. It just looks really, really neat. I'm going to go back to Dull Pink just to brighten up those hearts as well to make the saturation of color kind of match the purple. And after I have all of that pink added on, once again, I'm going to peel off my tape and lift my stencil. Now you could leave it like this. I think it's super cute and pretty. It's great for Valentine's Day, but I'm going to layer the other stencil right on top, and I get this really cool geometric kind of almost psychedelic look to it. It's a really, really neat effect. Makes the pattern look awesome. Now I'm taping from behind as well, but this time I have it facing me so I can make sure that those hearts are in the right position. I'm going to take Sunshine ink and I'm going to layer that up from this bottom left corner and just kind of go over that area. I'm trying to not go over the purple too much because yellow and purple generally don't mix and make a beautiful color. Usually they go to a brown. So I'm kind of minimizing how much yellow I've got on this. I'm using High Dive and coming in from the top corner just to finish off the design for this second set of hearts. And High Dive is like a tealish blue. It's going to look great with all of the colors that we've used today. So after I have this blend, I'm going to lift it off and you can see how cool this looks with all these intersecting hearts. Now you could definitely leave it like that, but I'm going to be putting kind of like a brighter greeting on top. I'm going to have the shadow halo of the greeting be white. And so I didn't want to have a white background. I thought it might be a little bit too busy. So I took Sunshine and just very lightly brought it over that pattern in the bottom corner, doing the same with Dull Pink and Hot Mama. And then I'll eventually bring in some of that High Dive down in the bottom corner. And this just softens those really bright white areas. It will make it so it's not such a stark contrast between the white and the colored hearts. So I'm blending that on, just giving a little bit of color. And it also really emphasizes the change in color as it goes across this entire background design. So now I have this really fun background with all of my hearts, and I was thinking I wanted to have some like shimmery glitter on top, and I wanted it to be sort of transparent. So I grabbed some Cosmic Shimmer glitter paste. This is in the color Aurora Sparkle, and I thought, I could probably put a really thin layer of this down. So I started to put it on and very quickly realized that this paste was not only very thick, but it had dried out a little bit and that it was not going on in a very transparent fashion. And I thought, oh no, I think I have messed up my project. So I said, you know what? If I've messed it up, I've messed it up. Let's just continue and see what happens. So I added more of this paste. You can tell it's very, very dry if you've ever used this paste before. It's generally not this sticky and thick. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to add a different color. So I switched to some iridescent gel from Gina K Designs. So it has a little bit of a different glitter color. It's more gold. And I put that in the bottom corner kind of over the yellow. And I thought, you know what, this is looking really bad. I didn't know if I could salvage it. And I thought, I'm going to scrape off as much as I can. Maybe it'll work. I don't know. So I started to scrape it off, and it actually did come off the paper fairly well. And it flattened out the glitter so that it laid very, very flat on my paper. And it had this sort of grunge effect where there were areas that had glitter and areas that did not. And you could see where I had scraped it. It was a really interesting effect. And right before I tried this scraping, I was just going to, trash this. I didn't know that it would really be worth keeping. But after I did this a few times and I scraped off a little more and a little more, I kind of liked it. And it had this really cool kind of just like minimal glitter effect. And so I thought, oh my word, did I just discover a new technique? And I guess this is how sometimes you just, find things by accident. So I'm calling this a dry glitter scraping because my gel and also that glitter paste were very dry. I think you could probably mimic these effects with like an embossing paste that is not as dry by putting it on as thin as you can, letting it dry for about 5 or 6 minutes, and then scraping. I think you'd probably get the same effect. So now I'm using the Love Your Guts dies from CZ Design, and I'm using this holographic paper from Simon. This comes in a set of some different types of holographic paper. I really love this wavy one that almost looks like oil on top of water. It's really cool. So I die cut the words out of the holographic paper, and then I die cut like the shadow die that matches it out of some white cardstock. This is just some Neenah Classic Crest Solar White 80-pound cardstock. And I used some glue from Honeybee to adhere the words right onto that shadow die cut. And I like to use liquid glue for things like this because it gives you a little bit of time to kind of wiggle that die cut around and get it in the exact spot. And when you're putting 2 die cuts together like this, you want a little bit of that wiggle room so you can get it in the right position. Used my tweezers just to get that in the right spot, and then press down with my fingertips. So I decided to trim down my background piece just a little bit for a couple of reasons. One, I wanted you to be able to see a little bit of the white card base that I'll be putting this on. And also when you use glitter embossing paste and you kind of swipe it off the edge of the paper, sometimes you get like a rough edge. And so I wanted to cut off that rough edge of that glitter like hanging out on the very edge of the cardstock. I created my card base out of some 110-pound Classic Crest Solar White cardstock, and then I put my panel down with some foam tape. I also put that same foam tape on the back of my greeting, and then place that directly onto the card. Now, if you wanted to add some additional elements to this design, you definitely could, but I wanted that background to be shown as much as possible, and also I loved that glitter effect. Isn't that so pretty? It's just different. I don't know that I've ever seen something quite like that. It's almost like a distressed glitter background. Fascinating. I really loved it. This technique was discovered accidentally, but I kind of want to try it again and again. If you want to make this card or any others, you can check out the supplies over at simonsestamp.com. Thanks for joining me today, and I will see you guys in another video very soon.